as I've said, because you're living in such unprecedented time, you've lost your job because of retrenchment, or you have just decided to quit your job because of one reason or another. You not sort of grieve, you actually grieve that job. You grieve what you used to know. You grieve not having a stable income. Avoid panic driven decision, guys. Everything is a redirection. Take a deep breath. Everything is going to be all right. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy guys are back. So guys, let's just get right into the video, because we are living in the most unprecedented times, and I've seen a lot of people, most companies are actually shutting down due to the just challenging economic times, and also we are having a lot of businesses leave countries to go to favorable countries where they are able to do good business. Okay, so I think this one has affected people in business and people who are also employed. Okay, and so I thought about something. I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends, and I thought it would be wise for me to actually touch on this topic, because on this channel we talk about money, we talk about how to just navigate life. Okay, in terms of your personal development, you're just growing your money, growing your business, growing your career, growing your life all around. Okay, so if you guys hear a different voices, because I think I'm having a, I don't know if it's a sore throat or something. So you've lost your job because of retrenchment, or you have just decided to quit your job because of one reason or another. At the end of the day, when you decide to just leave employment or leave any sort of a job, you sort of grieve. You not sort of grieve, you actually grieve that job, even if it's you who decided to leave that job, because you had created relationships in that workplace. You had created just a different environment. You had a certain way of doing things, like you could wake up and go to work. So there's a system that you had created over the years, and to transition from that to something else can be quite challenging. And so the part where you're leaving or you're being laid off to a part where you decide to find yourself, there's a space where you grieve. If this was me when I was leaving my workplace and I wanted some sort of encouragement, I will tell myself these things. So I hope whoever feels lost, probably you can resonate with what I want to say, and I hope it gives you encouragement and helps you to see this from a different perspective altogether. Okay, so the first thing I will tell you is take a deep breath. Like, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in again. Do you know why I'm saying that? Because I am so sure, since the day you got the letter that you're being retrenched, or the day you're told you're sent home, you've not actually catch a breath. Because I want to assure you from a different end that this is not the end of you. I know guys, I know it seems like your life is done, like you feel like you cannot breathe, your life has been disoriented. Everything is a redirection. I know when it's like when someone is going through a hard time, when you tell them, imagine you're going to be okay, imagine you're going to be fine, people think like, what is she talking about, or why is this person telling me that? I am telling you as your big sister, everything is going to be all right. The second thing I'm going to say is take time to rest and regroup. Okay guys, this is something I realized. I got employed when I was 21, and I stayed in that job for like 13 good years. Okay, what you don't understand is that you've actually been running on what is it, you've actually been just going and going and going, and you've never had a time to just take a break. Okay, yes, you go on leave, but even when you're going on leave, you're actually thinking about the things that you're going to come and do. There's always something at the back of your mind saying, I hope those guys did my work. If you left your workspace and it had to be given to someone else when you're on leave, you always think, I'm hoping they're doing what I normally do. Okay, so there's always a burden at the back of your mind. Either you go for leave, either you go for a vacation, you're always thinking to come back, because you're not sure what has happened when you're not away, number one. Number two, you are always worried that you're gonna come and find work accumulated, so you have not had time to rest, especially for those people who got employed when they were 18, and now you're almost 30 something, and now you're being laid off when you're 30s or in your 40s. One thing you're going to understand is that you never got time to just take rest. There's an assumption that you take rest, but you've never actually taken rest without having the burden of thinking about the work that you are doing. Okay, so take the time to bring yourself in, to just rest. Okay, because sometimes let me tell you guys, losing a job or resigning from a job or retrenchment is such an emotional draining thing. It's gonna drain you mentally, emotionally, physically. You feel like you actually don't have strength to even stand on your 2 feet. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying take a rest is because you want to allow yourself a few days to just do nothing. Don't rush into survive. Don't rush into this mode of wanting to figure out things very fast. Regroup, go back to yourself, rest. Because let me tell you something, if something I've learned, guys, is because it's something that I've learned is you can never create from a place of survival. So when you lose your job, you go into survival mode. What can I do? What can I remove? What can I cut? How am I going to survive? So you go into this survival mode. So your body is so unregulated. The only way to create is to create from a place of rest. Guys, I'm going to say this. If there's something I learned is just take rest. Just be still. Just take time to allow yourself to regroup, to call yourself back. The energy that you've given wherever you are working, the energy that you gave thinking about this loss of a job, the energy you've given in just trying to see how you're going to survive, I want you to call back all your energy. And the only way to call back all your energy is for you to actually rest. So sleep if you need to sleep. Just eat and sleep. Don't think about anything. Don't think about what responsibilities you have for a moment. Don't think about that, okay? Because you're trying to just, you see, can you imagine if you are the center of your energy and you've dispersed that energy everywhere? So you can imagine how weak you are as a person. So you have to call back all the energy back to yourself so that you're able to just gather yourself from a place of energetic, like you're able to work out things from a place of energy. You understand? So rest is very important. Let me tell you, I know you guys are thinking, how can I rest when I've lost my job? I know it seems like it's such an inconsiderate thing for me to say, but I know what I'm telling you guys. You have to take a rest. You've not slept for the last 20 years. You've not taken time to just, don't think about what is gonna break. You've always been on this survival mode. So this is a time for you to actually rest, okay? Because rest is essential when you're making big decisions. And losing a job is such a big decision, and how you're gonna move forward is such a big decision. So you have to work from a place of rest, okay? So you understand what I'm saying, okay? Another thing that I'm going to say is avoid making any major decision immediately, okay? So guys, I've said, so the reason I'm telling you rest, okay, because this is a major decision. Are you going to apply for another job? That's number one. Are you going to transition to something totally different? That's number two. Are you going to restructure your life positively or negatively? Meaning, are you going to probably transition because you have enough assets to take care of yourself, take care of you and your family moving forward, or are you going to have to downsize for you to be able to take care of your family? Either way, there has to be a restructure. You need not to make immediate decision, you know, those, because this is life-changing decision. So you can't just wake up and just decide to do things. Let me tell you guys, you have to be in a place where you make decision to make sound decision. So when you want to make sound decision, it means you can't just rush into making the decision. Let me tell you one thing, don't start a business immediately, guys. Don't start a business. Don't move from your house, and don't move immediately, okay? Don't change your kids' school immediately. Just don't avoid panic driven decision, guys. Guys, I'm telling you, you know sometimes you go through things and you just wish, I wish I was never in that rush of panicky. You're making this decision from a panic. You're panic driven, and now you make wrong decision after wrong decision and after wrong decision, because there's a high possibility, guys, that even though it's a retrenchment or a layoff, or you've decided to leave your job, you might stay longer before getting another job, or you just might take 1 month before another job comes. Okay, so can you imagine, you're just making this rush decision, you panic, you change your kids from, you transfer your kids from this school to this school, you move houses, and then within 2 months you have another job, probably even a better paying job, and you had gone through this rush decision. Okay, so don't do that. Just breathe in, because even if worst comes to us, there's a possibility, even if you don't have savings, if you don't have emergency saving, there's a possibility you can be able to sustain yourself in that house, in that environment, for at least 1 month. That's so take this 1 month to just not panic, and like live in that moment of that space of now. Like, that's what you have rent for 1 month, your kids, you've already probably paid school fees for your kids so they can go to school for that term, so you have at least a room for you to make decision without feeling panicky. Because let me tell you, what I've come to realize that most people panic, and when you panic, you just do, within 1 month you just have overhaul all your life in a second, and I feel like later most people feel like, I rushed into making that decision. So that's why I'm telling you, don't rush into making that decision. Okay, so give yourself time to assess the situation logically. Like, look at the whole situation. Once you've rested, look at the whole situation logically. Bring the things on the table logically. Like, now sit down with the paper and a pen and logically, and try to assess your life. Okay, so something else you're going to do, number 3, is that you're going to review your finances. So now you have decided you're not going to panic. Okay, you're going to identify where your money has been going. Okay, because if there's something that makes people panic, is because of the financial situation. Okay, let me just get a sip, because I feel like I've been so dry. So the reason why people panic is because of their financial situation. So I want you to review your finances logically. Okay, you have to see, where was your money going, what was the outlet of your money. So now you understand. You have to see everything for how it is. And let me tell you guys, this is the moment to cut any unnecessary expense. If anything was being done in that household, if anything was being done in your family, and it was unnecessary, and when I say unnecessary, for example, let me take an example. Most people are under black tax. Okay, so what that means is that you're either taking care of your cousin, you're taking care of your aunt, you're taking care of someone in your family, you're taking care of, you understand. So there's a possibility money was going out to help your family members, because this is how we've just grown up. Okay, so there's a possibility you're taking care of a certain family member. It is the high time for you to now communicate that you're not going to be able to do that thing, as much as it looks like it's not a good thing. But you have to take care of your family, you have to take care of yourself now. So if that means having to communicate to your family, the extended family, that you're not going to be able to take care of them moving forward until you find stability, some sort of stability, please make sure you do that. Because it will be so wrong for you to now start borrowing money only to send to these places, when you cannot take care of your 4 walls. You can't take care of your food, your rent, your electricity, and your water. You know, the most basic. So you have to communicate, guys. I know it is so hard, especially if people are relying on you. But guess what? Sometimes we tend to feel like, if you're not there, they will not survive. Imagine they will survive. Imagine they will survive. If you're not the one who was going to give them help, someone else would have done the same. So it's not that it's a do or die for them if you don't send help. They also have to, especially if you've been helping these people for like a long period of time, for you to say, I can't be able to do right now because I am going through a different transition. Even a different transition, I think these people should be able to understand. Okay, so you cannot put yourself in a bad situation, because the reason why you're feeling overwhelmed is because of the financial situation, of how much expenses and how much money is required to leave your pocket to go to different places. You understand? So you have to come back and just cut. Okay, if you have to communicate that and tell them, I'm not going to do this until further notice. You know, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to. You just say, I was able to do this until this point, but now I need to take care of a few things, and I'm hoping that you guys try to figure out things, and they will figure things out, believe me. Okay, so it's very important also to make sure that your budget is a bare bone budget, guys. I talked about this, and I'm going to talk about this again. What a bare bones budget means is that you go down to the basic need. Meaning you can refuse making your nails, making your hair. Why? Because it's not necessary now. Not that you're denying yourself for a long period of time. You're just saying, I'm not going to go to this to make my hair or make my nails moving forward. Because that is something that you can always pick up once you get enough sufficient finances to be able to continue doing the things that you like enjoying. Probably you're not going to do a vacation. You're probably not going to do any eat outs, because you have to go back to bare bones. Your food, your rent, electricity and water, and that's it, guys. That's it. You go back to bare bones budget, because even, can you imagine, even if you have kids in school, you can be able to communicate to your school. And especially if you're a good payer and you're paying for school fees on time, you can always communicate to the principal or to the school administration that you're going through a transition, for them to extend grace for you, and they will extend grace for you as you figure out. So this is a budget for just survival. Even if you have an emergency, guys, let me say something. Even if you have an emergency fund, it's not for you now to continue living the way you are living with that emergency fund. No, you have to cut back so that this emergency fund can stretch for you for a long period of time. So if you have a 6 months emergency fund, what you want to do is make sure if it can take you to 8 months, if possible. Okay, because you see, you did as an emergency fund of 6 months of your living expenses. So if your expenses in the household was 100,000, it means you have 600,000 saved. Okay, so the best thing for you to do is to make sure you don't spend the 600,000 within 6 months. If you can stretch it to 8 months, a year, because you don't know until things become better. Okay, as you're looking for a job or you're looking to set up something, you have to make sure the budget only covers the bare bones budget, like the basic needs. Okay, so those going out, eating out, okay, you have to cut them completely. Okay, that's something else. Something else I wanted you to do during this time, because you don't want to feel lost. I want you to assess your asset, your savings and your liabilities. Okay, let's start with your asset. Probably you have some sort of asset. Maybe you're contributing towards a SACCO. A SACCO is just an organization where you keep your money and you get dividends at the end of the year. Or you have a pension, because pension nowadays, they agree for you to pull like 50% of your saving in case you are retrenched or you leave your job or something happens. You are able to actually pull 50% from your pension. Okay, which is not advisable. Is it advisable? No. But if things are not good, it's, I don't know, I always say, like, you can always rebuild something because you have a memory of rebuilding. So you can always go back and rebuild your pension. But you just assess how much is your pension, how much can they give you. Just, that's what I'm saying. So you check your pension, you check everything, things that you're able to access. How much assets do you have? Something else you have to assess is your emergency. The way I'm saying, how much money is kept as an emergency fund? Do you have even an emergency fund? If not, that's okay. Life happens that you're not able to survive or pay your expenses and also be able to have an emergency fund. So this is a way of just sitting down and saying, I don't have an emergency fund, so what else can I do? Do I have money in my SACCO? Yes or no? Do I have money in my pension? Yes or no? Do I have money saved somewhere? Yes or no? Do I have an asset that can be easily liquidated? Yes or no? Do I have long-term asset that I cannot liquidate? Yes or no? So you're sitting down to just assess your net worth, how much are you worth in terms of financial stability. Then you're going to look at your liabilities. These are your loans. What else? Your loans, things that you're paying for. Maybe you have a car loan, you have a mortgage, you have a loan in the bank, probably you have a loan in the circle. So this is the time for you to sit down and see exactly how much liability is upon you. Because when you see your asset and you see your liability, you're able to see, are you safe? Okay? Are you okay? Because your asset minus your liability, then you get your net worth, okay? Or you get, your net worth. You understand now how much money you have, okay? Let me tell you why I'm saying this. Because once you know, sometimes you either think you're doing well or you think you're doing badly. Until you sit down to write down your assets, write down your financial situation, you might be able to see, you might be panicking. You're panicking because you've lost your job. You're panicking because there's some layoff in your organization. You're panicking because something has happened. But when you sit down with yourself, you're like, I'm not even badly, I'm actually doing better. Because probably when you're busy, you don't take time to actually assess your finances now and then. So now, because you have time to assess, you might also feel, maybe you thought you're doing well, but you're not doing well. You're like, I thought I had assets. Kumbe, all these assets are actually unliquidated. Like, you can't liquidate these assets. Something like land, you can't just offload land. Land is something that takes a long time for you to actually sell. So you might have the land, but can it help you right now? Probably not, because selling land can be really, really hard, as much as it's an asset. You might have a car that has been paid for, so that's an asset. You can offload that car very fast, because it's easy for you to sell a car than sell land. You understand? Then if you have a mortgage, you can see how it's hard for you to sell the house if you're not capable of paying the mortgage. Yeah? So now you understand where I'm saying you have to assess your assets, your liability, because now you see the general thing and you understand. This one will give you a wake-up call of, oh, I've not been saving enough, or oh, I've been investing in the wrong way. It just gives you a wake-up call, or oh, I thank God I've been able to put this money aside, and I'm grateful that it's going to come and help me right now. So now this is the time, a wake-up call for you, so that by the time you're transitioning to whatever you want to transition to, you know where you stand financially. Okay? So if something else I'm going to say is pause debt repayment. If you have any debt with the bank, with a circle, you have a debt with someone, just pause it and communicate. Most banks have an insurance for money taken out. Like if you're employed, you take loan under memorandum of understanding. So your loan has an insurance. So your bank cannot harass, is that the right word? Your bank can give you time for you to be able to pay that loan. You understand? Because it has an insurance in case you lose your job, in case there's a retrenchment, there's a way they give you a period of time before you pay that loan. So you pause, because if you had money in saving and you go and pay loan, how are you going to survive? You have to pause that, okay? Save that loan and communicate. Make sure you do, the first thing you do is communicate. Call your circle, call your bank, say this is what happened, we've been laid off. They will guide you. Most banks will guide you if such a thing happen. Some people given even 6 months to just, when you figure things out, or they will give you the minimum repayment amount, so you don't feel like, oh, I've lost my job, I have a loan of 100,000 every month, and I'm not able to do this right now. So the reason why you're panicky is because you're thinking, how am I going to pay this loan? How am I going to pay this car? How am I going to pay this mortgage? So you have to go back and communicate and just talk to the bank and say, this is the situation. What do we do moving forward? Okay? So now, are you seeing how all of a sudden you're able to breathe, you're able to just calm your nervous system and just know we're going to be fine, okay? That's what I'm gonna say. So something else I'm going to tell you is that when you've now seen, you've communicated to the bank, you've communicated to any lender, just you're now trying, the bank will advise you. If you have a car loan, they will advise you, what can we do about the car? Can you sell the car and then pay the balance of the loan? Can, you know, before things become worse where they repossess your car. So you have to get to a place where you have this. Don't wait until it's worse. Just go straight to them. Don't hide, don't run. Go back to them and say, this is the situation, what can I do? They will tell you. I'm telling you, most banks don't have bad blood. I know it looks like, oh, they're coming for my car, they're coming for my house. When you have the initial conversation, they will guide you, okay? And then you will see, at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Do I still want to carry this debt moving forward, or do I offload this debt in whatever capacity that I see fit for me and my family? Okay, so now you see, you're breathing. Is air coming back? I think air is coming back. So now the next thing that you're going to do is to identify any skill you can monetize ASAP. Let me tell you this, guys. You see, everybody has a skill. Believe me, everybody has a skill. It's because you are busy working. You never got the time to just hone on your skill, or just take time even on the weekend, because you're probably working Monday to Sunday, or you're working Monday to Saturday. And even if you're not working, you're doing projects for the work that you're doing. So you never have time. But guess what? You have a skill, and you know. Okay? So what I can say is that try to see what is it that I can do effortlessly. You know something. There's something that you know that you can do without even thinking about it. Okay? So let me give you an example. For me, when I resigned from my job, the first thing that I did, and I thought it was so easy, it comes so easy, is teaching. So I actually did tutoring for students who are both in primary and high school, because I could do that very fast. So at least I went into, I can do this, like this is something that I can do. So I went into tutoring. Okay, so you have to look for something that you can do that comes so easy for you. Like, you don't have to think. If it's plaiting hair, you just go right into making hair. Because if it's doing makeup professionally, you know there's something that you know. We know you. We know your capability. We can see. We know something that you don't know. So you go right into doing that, because you want to make sure, as much as you have an emergency fund, you also have some income just coming in, so that you don't have this feeling of I don't know what to do. So if you're making here, you're getting here 1,000, 2,000 here, so you're able to just keep life going, as the money for emergency is taking care of your rent, taking care of the bills. So this money is just coming to supplement food, supplement electricity here and there, transport here and there, so you do that. Don't think, what are people going to say? Don't overthink it. Just go right and do what you need to do, because you need to supplement your income ASAP. As you're applying for another job, or whatever you are doing, you've decided to do, you're also bringing in another income. And guess what? As you're trying to do something that comes easy for you, it sort of gives you joy. You know those things that you're like, oh, like I can teach kids. Like, I feel so fulfilled when I see I teach students, and then I can see them performing very well. Okay, so you sort of are given light at the end of the tunnel. You feel like, oh, I didn't realize I'm so good when it comes to making hair. Oh, I didn't know that I was good at making whatever thing that you can do. I am telling you guys, don't overthink it. Just do what comes easy for you. Monetize what comes easy for you. If it's baking, bake. If it's cleaning, clean. If it's tutoring, tutor. If it's making hair, make hair. Don't think about it, because you want income immediately. Okay, I said don't do any business where you invest a lot of money for the time being, because I want to make sure by the time you're doing the business investment, you have regulated yourself. You are at a good space where you're not just doing panic business starting. You are going to lose your money, guys. Okay, so the thing that you're going to do also moving forward now is now start looking for a job. But now, guys, I want you to start looking for a job from a growth mindset. You see, you've been given time. How am I going to say? You think you are at a loss when you lose a job, but sometimes it just redirects you. You're used to facing this font. Try to change and just see a different redirection. You know, things happen to redirect you. As much as they are painful, they come with a sense of pain and loss and whatever. Redirect your mind in a way that you just like, probably I can go into this different industry than what I was doing. Probably I'm going to try something different. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So look at it as a redirection, not as a loss. Let me tell you, I told you guys, desperation smells. If you start a business from desperation, people will smell, they will take advantage of you. If you look for a job from a place of desperation, people are going to take advantage of you. So you have to be in a place where you have you are centered enough for you to demand what you think you deserve. Because there's a possibility when you're in a panic, you're going to take any amount of money that you're offered. And not to say that it's not bad for you to take any less money, but are you seeing when you come in a desperate place and someone sees desperation, they're even going to renegotiate even down further downwards. Like they're going, oh, no, I'm gonna, no, we can't give you 80, oh, we can't give you 70, oh, we can't give you 60. You understand? So you have to come from a place of, you know what you want, as much as your circumstance is not favorable, so that people don't take advantage of you. Okay, so something I'm going to say is that the last thing, do not panic sell your asset. You know, when you lose a job, you are like, I'm gonna sell my car, I'm gonna sell my house, I'm gonna sell my land, I'm going to sell. So you're in this panic selling of assets. And they have said people sense desperation. Something that you bought at probably 10,000, they are going to demand to pay you 2,000 because they can sense this person has come to me because they are at the end. They are at the end, so they can give you and offer you any amount of money, which can be really such a loss for the things that you've acquired over the time. So do not panic sell your asset, no matter what comes. Okay, and the last thing, guys, trust in the process. When I tell you you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine. Trust this process. Trust that God, that you're going to be led, that you're going to be redirected, that to sit down and recollect how many things will have taken you out, how many times you felt like you had hit the wall, how many times you felt like, I don't know, because this is what happens. You have gone through other things that were worse, and somehow you just figured things out, and somehow you just were able to find your way around things, and somehow you just came out of it. You understand? Like somehow things worked out. Somehow when your husband lost his job, you guys worked things out. Somehow when you were not able to work, somehow things were working. When your help left you in the morning with your child and you're going to work and you had to present a meeting, and somehow things worked. And when you're in so much debt, you could not even breathe, and somehow things worked out for you. I want you to be in that state of mind to remind yourself that even this one will work out. In a few months, you're going to be like, where was I worried? Because worrying does not change anything. Let me tell you, I had something that says, when you worry, it's like you're praying in reverse. Anytime you're worried, you're praying in reverse. You're sort of are not sure that God is going to come through for you. So you're actually, when you get worried, it means like it's like you are the owner of your own life. You are the owner, you're the person who brought yourself here, and so you're the one to take care of yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So when you keep worrying, it's like you're refusing God to actually take care of you the way he should. So it's not your place to worry. The only thing to do is to have faith that moving forward, that God is going to open ways, however that way is going to look like. Okay? And sometimes I always feel like something I've come to realize is that sometimes it's like God looked at you and thought, my girl, my daughter is so tired and she cannot leave this job because she feels like her life revolves around this job. So sometimes I feel like sometimes God removes you from places because he's looking at you like the way, if for example, if your child was going to a certain school and they were being bombarded with homework and I don't know, activities, and you know this private school, the way they tend to just like put a lot of load on their kids, and then one day your child comes from school and they have all this lot of homework, and you look at your child sleeping on the table when they are doing their homework, and you're like, she's not going to go back to that school. You understand? Like, you, but the reason why you're doing that is because you're looking at your child and thinking, that's not right. I'm not going to allow my child to go back to that school. That's how I look at it. Like, sometimes God looks at you and say, this girl has never rested since she started working. And she's been working for like 30, 40 years. I want her to rest. And that means probably not being able to, maybe being laid off, or maybe there's a restructuring and you go home. It's not like it's a malicious way. It's a parent taking care of their child the same way you will take care of your child and say, my daughter is not going to go back to that school again because I love her so much, to see her being bombarded with all these things. You know, like, as a parent, you know what is right for your child. And sometimes you get to a place where you look at the school and you look at how your child is, how they are living their life, and you're like, no, I don't want her to go through that. I prefer them to go through this system because I feel like they're being able to be taken care of wholly, like the activities, the schoolwork, the whatever, and your child is happy. But when you see your child sad every day to go to that school, even if that school was good, what will you do as a parent? Because that's what I feel like. Sometimes God is just telling you, rest and trust that I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of you. However, and sometimes maybe it's just for you to pack your things and go to your mom and sleep the whole day and sleep the whole week and then come back and deal with this life. You understand? So on that's just on a lighter note. Just try to think about things in a from a light place. Like, sometimes it's just God looking at my son and my daughter and thinking, this girl has been suffering and there's no way she's ever gonna resign. So the only way is to make sure there's a massive restructuring and for you to go home, because he knows by you alone you cannot just do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna leave you guys with is, as much as it looks like it's a light on a lighter note, I want you to look at it that way. Like, you're going to be fine. I am telling you, you're going to be fine. Yeah. And I want you to remember a verse in Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10, and it says, fear not, for I am with you. Be not discouraged, because I am your God. I will help you and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So everything always works out at the end. It's just that because we are human being, we are limited to what we see, and we are limited to the extent at which we think we should be. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. So go back and just see all the, all the everything that I've said. Like, don't panic sell, don't take a deep breath and just be assured and trust in yourself that you're going to figure out things. Trust that even the last time when things were difficult, you found a way around it. So remind yourself, even now, you're going to find a way. Okay, so guys, if you have, share your experience on the comment below, because sharing is caring. And sometimes when you talk about your own experience, people get to just see that they are not alone in this journey. So comment below, share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. I'm sending you light and I'm sending you love in whatever circumstance that you're going through, and I hope to hear good comments, because you're going to come back on this video and you're going to comment when you allow things to flow through you. Things always, don't hold on to things that are dying. When they want to die, let them die. And sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, I'm actually talking to myself. In most cases, by the way, I'm talking to myself. So when things are just when things are dying, let them just disintegrate. When things are disintegrating and living your life, let them just go, because sometimes holding on to requires more energy than just letting them go. Okay, and trust that even when that thing goes, that something else is gonna come your way. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.